I studied art as a child when I was 5, 6 years old. So I enjoyed drawing mostly in pencil. Then I started doing African crafts as well. When I got to high school, I did more painting and drawing. I ventured into acrylics and oils. So then I got to college and I majored in studio art. So that's where I explored some pottery, painting again, and sculpture. Growing up in Uganda was a little bit different. I grew up in the capital city, Kampala, actually. So at the time that I grew up, it wasn't as developed as it is right now. We didn't have the mega stores and all the tourists at the time. My family was from the Baganda tribe, which is the majority tribe and also the central tribe in Kampala. I had a balance of the Western culture, flying to England on holidays, but also being taught my tribal language and culture. A lot of my work marries the different cultures that I've lived in, starting from birth, my Ugandan culture, and then I mix it up with my American life, because I've been in America for 20 years. Right now I focus mostly on acrylic paintings. I teach classes, I teach drawing, oil painting, and acrylic painting. But when I'm doing my own work, I focus mostly on acrylic because it's an easier medium to work with. And most of the work that I do as well is mixed media. And I tend to use found objects as well. So my work would be on cardboard or a piece of plywood that I found. So it's never one medium usually. One of the best things about being an artist is having an outlet. When I start a piece, sometimes it starts out realistic and becomes more abstract. It depends on what the experience was, with where I was going, and what the message I was trying to communicate. One of my bigger pieces is called Self-Imprisonment. So it was a time where I felt that I was stuck and I didn't know how to get out of that prison mentally. So the way I got out of that prison is I spent days and days in my studio painting. I let out whatever it is that I needed to let out, and as I did let it out and participate in shows, it helped me talk about those issues, talk about the things that I needed to talk about to get out of that prison. In painting my works and having to share them, that helped me a lot to get rid of the imprisonment that I had put myself in. About 3 years ago, I went through one of the most horrible experiences in my life. I was suffering from fibroids and was consistently in hospital, needing blood transfusions because of the heavy bleeding. So it seemed like this little perfect life of mine had come undone. So that's how I started that painting, Undone. And I painted it specifically on the cardboard box because I had this box and I opened it up and just started painting, and I included the uterus because that's where everything began, that's where all the problems began. But after I got sick, somehow my life snowballed into getting involved with the community, because then I started doing my art more, and as I displayed it, it brought conversation, and it just led me to where I am today at the Culture Center, because when I started exhibiting my art, the center heard about me and they needed an artist in residence, so I was selected for that. As I displayed my work, I got to meet more people. I got more passionate about being involved in the community and promoting the arts. Coming from a different country sometimes is difficult, especially if if you were born in one country and then lived in other countries, throughout your life, because at times you don't feel a sense of belonging. Because even when you go back to the country that you were born in, they don't see you as being from there. And then when you are in a foreign country, you're still a foreigner. So that can be difficult in that sense, where you sort of have an identity crisis at some point, and it's something that you have to work through, and that I had to work through to figure out, where do I really belong? My heritage piece depicts my background in Uganda as well as my life in America. It includes the Ugandan flag, which is red, yellow, and black, and then the American flag, which is red, white, and blue. And the thing that's in common there is the red, which in a sense symbolizes we all bleed the same. And in marrying those two cultures, for me, it just shows that I am the same person. I am the same person in Uganda, I am the same person in America.
Visit pioneer.org/postcards to catch up on missed episodes and to find out more about your favorite segments. This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. Live Wide Open, a regional movement that encourages people to make a great life for themselves in west central Minnesota. More at livewideopen.com. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com.